Louisville, home of the best scrapper, also home of the best rap.
You an American, right? You an American, right? Where was Manny Pacquiao?
What up, what up? You're watching Red Room Sports, home of Ali Land Boxing Talk, the Louisville Cardinals Daily, and the Ghetto Angler Fishing only on the weekends. We got some breaking news for you today, man. And our topic for today is going to be flat-footed Errol Spence Jr. is too slow to beat on-toes speed fighter Manny Pacquiao. Alright, y'all, so an article broke, and the one I'm reading, I think several different publications have covered this as far as boxing sources, but I'm reading Boxing Scene, and there's an article called Pacquiao Confident of Victory, Feels Spence is Slower Than Thurman. Alright, y'all, so I touched on this topic a few videos ago, about a month ago, about foot speed in boxing after Errol Spence fought Danny Garcia, and I touched on why I felt like Errol Spence's flat-footed foot speed would hinder him if he fought Manny Pacquiao. And I got a lot of flack for that video. Unfortunately, there were a lot of people who didn't agree with what I was saying. But obviously, Manny Pacquiao agrees with somewhat of it. He might not have seen what I actually said, but in the same context of what I was saying, he agrees with what I was saying. And I just wanted to break down why I feel like I'm going to show some footage in here of what I mean about flat-footed versus on toes too. So check out the background footage or side footage or wherever I put it at. But I want to explain why I feel like Errol Spence's foot speed, his flat-footed foot speed, is going to hurt him when he takes on the legend Manny Pacquiao. And are they going to fight, or is he going to fight Conor McGregor in 2021 and not fight Errol Spence Jr.? So let's get into this article. And I just want to get into the juicy part, man. I don't want to give away that whole article, but the coronavirus pandemic has prevented the 42-year-old Manny Pacquiao from returning to the ring in 2020. He aims to fight again in 2021 against Spence or potential UFC superstar Conor McGregor. Spence retained his title last month when he returned to the ring with a dominant 12-round decision over Danny Garcia in Texas. After studying his recent performance, Pacquiao believes Thurman is a quicker fighter. Spence is too slow, Pacquiao told Ramos of Business Mirror when discussing Spence's comeback win over Garcia. Spence is slower than Thurman, but it's going to be a good fight. Alright, y'all, so a few things to take away from what Manny Pacquiao said there. And the main thing I took away from there, and the most important thing I'm going to save for the end, but a lot of people think, well, this guy's younger, this guy's stronger, or just as strong, and this guy's, he's done it to all these other fighters. But they don't realize that in boxing, your resume really means a lot. Who you fought, how long you've been around, how many wars you've been in. I know a lot of people in boxing don't like that word war because they feel like when you say wars, you're talking about punch-drunk boxers or boxers that have taken on way too much than their body can handle. But there are levels to everything in life, man. There are levels to conditioning. There are levels to how much punishment you've taken as a fighter. There are levels to your skill sets. And Manny Pacquiao is on a special level when it comes to athletes, and he has been in a lot of wars. But for some reason, he's kept such a good, diet and workout regimen that it's been able to carry him later on into his years when it comes to boxing. And I feel like because he's on a certain level and his skill sets are on a certain level, that he sees something in Spence's footwork that he can take advantage of. And this is where it gets over a lot of boxing fans' heads because they're not true to the sport and they don't study the sport in a way that a pugilist might study the sport. And they're not into footwork. They're not into where you place your hands to counter a fighter. They're not into how you dip, duck, and dodge a punch. They're not into all that stuff. They want to see a fight, or they want to see their favorite personality win. That's what they're into. So I think there's something that Manny Pacquiao saw in that fight, and there were some things I saw in that fight as far as Spence's footwork and how he moved around the ring, and actually what Danny Garcia was able to do good in that fight that I know Pacquiao will be able to take advantage of. And once again, I'll put footage up of what I can. And there's another quote in this article by Manny Pacquiao that I think really should be raising a lot of eyebrows, and that is the fact that he said Spence is slower than Thurman, but it's going to be a good fight. Now that says a lot, because obviously he is planning on fighting Errol Spence Jr., because if he wasn't planning on fighting Errol Spence Jr., he wouldn't have said it's going to be a good fight. He would have said it could be a good fight, or it would be a good fight. You know, it would be worded a little bit different. So obviously there's something in the talks or something in the works, because he said Spence is slower than Thurman, but it's going to be a good fight. That's a direct quote from this article. So in my mind, I feel like they've already talked. They've set something up. Perhaps Manny Pacquiao is planning, like I said in my last video, go check that out, to take on a lesser opponent because of what's going on in the world and the fact that he wants a fan base, a crowd in the building when he fights. He doesn't want to have to deal with fighting somebody without that crowd. And I think because, you know, everything's still going on in the world, I think him and Spence are willing to wait until they get the golden opportunity, maybe at the end of the year. Summertime is when I'm thinking, sometime around the summertime, that they can, you know, the world can open up a little bit more, and then they can have fans actually be in the stadium for the fight. So I'm thinking Manny Pacquiao is going to probably take on Conor McGregor or Mikey Garcia. Now, I would love to see him fight you guys. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but it's leaning more toward Manny Pacquiao's probably going to fight either McGregor or Garcia in Saudi Arabia, get a huge paycheck, because there are big dollars being thrown around, even around the Mikey Garcia fight. Now, there will probably be more money involved if he fought Conor McGregor, but he could still make a huge paycheck by fighting Mikey Garcia in Saudi Arabia. Let me know what y'all think about that down in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all think about Manny Pacquiao's decision to either fight McGregor or Spence, and what do you think about boxing footwork? Is Manny Pacquiao right, or is he just making claims so he can avoid fighting Errol Spence Jr.? I know a lot of Spence fans probably feel like that's what he's doing. Let me know down in the comment section. It's your boy Cardinal Red. You're watching Red Room Sports, Ali Land Boxing Talk. Stay tuned for the Louisville Cardinals Daily and the Ghetto Angler Fishing, man. I'm going to be on that pretty soon here, and I'm sharing this article to the screen, man, so y'all be able to check it out too, man. It's your boy Cardinal Red, and we are out of here.
You an American, right? You an American, right? Where was Manny Pacquiao?
Louisville, home of the best scrapper, also home of the best rapper.